Kenny Omega beat MJF on AEW Beach Break to be the AEW World Champion. And I think it's his only second AEW Championship run, which is pretty freaking crazy. Although we'll get into it a little bit with like his injuries and all that kind of stuff. But Kenny Omega is back on top of the mountain. So he
My
closed
God.
out the July 8th episode of AEW Dynamite, where MJF was defending his AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega. And the stipulation was if Omega lost, he could never challenge for the world title again. And Omega, which was a great match, by the way. It was definitely like I always watch like, the podcast guys, and of course, Meltzer, he always slobs on their knob, but I will agree it was probably one of the best matches of the year. And yeah, I mean, uh, the stipulation was if Omega lost, he would never challenge for the world title again. Omega defeated MJF to capture the championship for the second time, which is crazy. And afterward, Kenny Omega took to X and wrote, after 1,698 days of waiting to get it back, we finished the race. Thank you for never giving up on me and always believing in me one more time. And then MJF tweeted the meme photo of Omega, which is linked to a quote in which Omega jokingly said during an AEW talent meeting that he wouldn't have hired 80% of the talent in the room. And then Kenny Omega, responding to MJF, replied with the same photo. And Omega is scheduled to defend the AEW World Title against Will Ospreay at All In on August 30th in London at Wembley Stadium. So Kenny Omega gets his second World Title Championship win. What a freaking match. He noted that it took 1,698 days to get the AEW World Championship back. Considering his injuries and the shifting landscape of AEW since his first title run, where do you feel like this specific title win ranks in terms of his career achievements? Where would you put it?
I would say it's significant because it is like that second AEW championship run for him. And then, I would have thought that a lot of people thought that maybe wouldn't have had another one, especially after his injury and stuff was winding down for him as far as like his career, so to speak. So I think it's significant. I don't know if I would rank it as high as like the New Japan stuff, as far as like his run in New Japan, but significant nonetheless for him. I think it's like a top five, title run. I would say for sure. Um, yeah, I would say it's somewhere up. And I think
David, yeah.
him personally, he's probably winding down in his career right now based on these injuries. There's probably things that are just not being said necessarily. The
I
quality of
think so.
match that he expects himself to wrestle and all that kind of stuff. So personally, I think he's kind of place holding it for old Willie boy, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, some of the numbers just based on like the match being promoted. I mean, it's their highest rated show in 2 years. There's a number of shows where he is currently advertised where they're pretty close to selling out, and that's not always common with AEW in its current product and format. David, where do you rank this like title win in like his list of moments? What did you think of the match? Where do you think he goes from here? What are your thoughts?
I think it's probably if it's tough because he just won, but I think for his AEW career, I think it's the biggest thing he's done since lose the title the first time.
Do you guys remember when did he lose it exactly? Was it in 20? It wasn't in 2019 because he was one of the first champions, wasn't he?
It goes
Let me be the producer here.
Jericho him.
First AEW title match.
That was Jericho
Okay.
Hangman.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. In 2020, he beat Moxley at Winter is Coming on December 2nd, 2020. So it was like a year. It was like a year after AEW started, basically. He became the champ, but still like pretty freaking early. I mean, I guess they're still pretty young, right? They started in 2019 as a official product, and yeah, it's been 8 years or so. So this is his second championship win in 8 years, which is pretty crazy considering the kind of wrestler he is. So the stipulation was that if Omega lost, he could never challenge for the world title again. So, as a viewer, did you actually think that MJF was going to retain the title, or did the stipulation make it feel a little predictable and you figured that Kenny Omega was going to win?
I felt Kenny was gonna win.
Me
Same.
too.
Yeah. I feel like if you say you can never challenge for the title again, like that, like you say that, I feel like it's just too much there to like just completely just write off the fact that they could potentially ever challenge because it doesn't make sense, especially for Kenny Omega being himself, being who he is, like not having him in the main event in some way or like somewhere in that card would make no sense from a financial standpoint. Just based on even what you were saying, how like oh now people are buying tickets to see Kenny Omega being the champ at this point. So obviously he moves people that are fans of AEW. So
Yeah, I mean, like for Cody Rhodes though, like what was his situation because he wasn't able, or was it a personal like decision to not face for the title, or was it like a televised stipulation
It
where he
was a
said,
stipulation that he
yeah,
decided on himself.
right. So I mean, I guess there is a precedent, right? So it's not like they're like, oh well, they're going to put this on as a stipulation, so obviously he's going to not he's going to win it because he's why would he not face it again? But they did it with Cody Rhodes, right? So
Hangman too.
it's not like it's not been a precedent in AEW's match history. So predictable. I think people were leaning more towards Kenny Omega winning because it's like what they're going to do it every time they do the stipulation. No one can ever face it again. So, I also thought that Kenny Omega was going to win the title. That's why I tuned in live because I was like, damn, that's a good match. I mean, the whole card, top to bottom, was actually really good. I always love when they do the whole beach break thing and they go to that arena or whatever you want to call it, just good vibes. So Omega is scheduled to defend against Will Ospreay at All In on August 30th. Do you feel like it's a smart move to lock in this dream match immediately? Because I don't think it's happened before. Do you feel like it rushes Omega's second reign right out of the gate? Like, do you feel like he should do more title matches, defenses in between before he does a big match like Will Ospreay, or do you think it makes sense for them to be like, all right, here's your title, and now immediately your next title defense is Will Ospreay?
they did New Japan and then they did Forbidden Door match, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, this is
The
their
first Forbidden
third
Door. Yeah. So yeah,
For the title?
well, it wasn't for the
for
title,
a title.
a title.
All right, well,
No.
I guess that's fair. What about this? So what about the question I posed?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, get it out of the way, make it happen, because it also just makes sense from a like where they're at, because I don't know if I mean, are they going to go back to London again in the next All In? You know what I mean?
I feel like for them, it's, I mean, based on ticket sales, I mean, I guess it's like the law of diminishing returns. Like every time they keep going back to Wembley, it seems like there's been less and less tickets, but maybe this match between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay at All In as a main event for the AEW Championship, which hasn't happened before, uh, is a ticket seller. I don't know,
Not
but
in this capacity. Yeah, I mean,
I not in that not at a Wembley Stadium capacity. I don't think. I don't think they have
Tokyo
the.
Dome.
I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I think it's going to be a great match. I think it's a great all-in main event. I think it's great. And I don't know if it's a branding issue, if it's ticket prices, or if people around the globe are just feeling their wallets getting hit, regardless if it's WWE or AEW. But you know, based on ticket sales so far, it isn't tracking as great. But that won't take away the fact that it'll be a great match. Um, but yeah, what do you guys think? So Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, who needs to win more at All In? So Kenny Omega cements his new era as champion, or is Ospreay taking the throne on AEW's grandest stage of them all?
I mean, my brain says will, my heart's me.
David?
Kenny.
I will also like to say Kenny Omega. I know that I feel like Tony Khan loves a hometown hero story. I think it's a great selling point, but I would like to see Kenny Omega hold on to the title longer. And again, these are just my intuitions. I have no evidence or proof of it, but Kenny Omega has been dealing with a number of injuries or diverticulitis, a bunch of issues. So I don't know how much he has in terms of endurance in dealing with this shit as a wrestler. You know, how many more title reigns is he going to have? That's why I would like for him to hold on to it a little longer than, you know, a month and a half or whatever it's going to be, you know. So I would like to hope. And also the numbers currently are showing that Kenny Omega puts butts in seats. So personally, I would love to see Kenny Omega retain at least through, I don't know, Double or Nothing. Let him hold it for a little bit, you know. And I feel like that MJF match demonstrated how you can put on a great match without like being a Darby Allin and going through like, you know, 6 glass tables or whatever the hell you want to do off a ladder. Like you can put on a great match without really risking your opponent. And I think Kenny Omega deserves it. So with that,